Hello, this is Dakin from How Did I Get Here? This month's episode. I do these monthly, sort of, right? Um, Anywho, this month's episode is Julia Kugel of the Great Coat Hangers and Scott Montoya, the former Growler. Together, they make Soft Palms, a band that sounds nothing like either of those bands, yet all three are fantastic. Um, but we're not talking about the band very much in this episode. The two of them wrote a book together called How to Be Self Reliant in the Music Business. And we kind of just sort of dug into the book. It's a quick and breezy read that only made my head swim like 400 times, and all of them in the royalties section. But it's a book about putting together a band, how to tour, how to route, how to keep yourself sane and healthy on the road, how to not get screwed over by people, how to not get screwed over by yourself. It's fantastic. It's out, I believe, now. There'll be links to that as well as the new record, and if we're lucky, Soft Palms tour dates, as they alluded to on the podcast, that we'll be getting some uh, East Coast dates already up, West Coast dates to come that I'll slip in once they get announced. So without further ado, here we go. So the podcast is How Did I Get Here? And you wrote a book about it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, like I have one too. And I've been through it, and usually like it's a career journey, and I'm going to ask a little bit about how you two became a team, cuz your two different bands were very different. And how did you find each other?
We played a festival together in Dallas. So, we played a lot of shows together actually, so I guess they weren't that different.
Same scene.
Yeah.
Like, we played that first show in Dallas, and then after that, we kind of were able to play together a lot. I mean, us meeting was inevitable.
Yeah, it's funny cuz the coat hangers are always the most insane band on lineups that I felt they didn't belong on.
But yeah, we were I think our cameras, but,
Camera stop, sorry,
'cause
I'm
someone's
getting a phone
calling.
call.
Um, we were really lucky to be able to be like chameleons. We would go on, like, all kinds of shows, like, Refused, like, playing with Black Lips or, La Luz or and just all over the place, and I think that was really special for our band to experience all that.
Yeah, I think so. I think my first experience with the coat hangers was Music Fest Northwest, and I think my first experience with the Growlers was Outside Lands. So where you were both the odd band out on those bills. And Soft Palms seems to sound really nothing like either of those projects.
Yeah,
Yeah.
um, that's I think that's great. Um, I don't wanna say the last thing you want is more of the same, but, like, it's in the book, like, what a band is a combination of elements,
Mhm.
and, take those elements away and put them into something else, and it's gonna be something totally different. It's chemistry. So, like, the first album was where we were and kinda how we worked together, um, then, and then this album is kind of what we've evolved into, and,
And it's yeah, and it's kinda weird because we, like, didn't want to make. It was intentionally different, I think, for me at first, and then with the second album, I was like, "Well, that is part of me."
Mhm,
Like, I'm a long time, like, being, angsty.
mhm.
So, it was really fun to introduce that into our sound as well, like, with Garbage in the Sand or Radio or, like, a little bit I don't know, I compartmentalize myself a lot. Like, "This is me. This is solo me. This is coat hanger me," and that's
Yeah.
kinda dumb, is what I was finally, came to understand that.
Yeah, yeah. I will. I'm gonna dig into the book in a little bit. It took me some time to get myself to listen to Garbage in the Sand, and that's such a. It's a very like I know emotionally bare is like a cliche to say, but like you brought a pretty dark kind of song to your to this project that like it felt very solo. My real question is how does that work with a relationship? Like, does bringing your songwriting open up conversations between you two? Does it make you closer? Does it ever cause tension?
No,
No,
none of
um,
those things.
I think even if she wrote a song about me, like, I wouldn't care
Yeah, he
because
doesn't ask.
there's no I don't have the right to do that. Like, when it comes to art and when it comes to expressing yourself through music, it's like, there's no there's you're not, like, allowed to do that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you're not allowed to get upset with someone that creates something regardless of whether or not it is about, like, me. Like, plus I don't ask. I mean, I know when things aren't about me. I'm pretty sure garbage is not about me, but,
Yeah. God, that would be a terrible way to break up a band.
Yeah.
But then
I mean, if
again,
the song's cool.
yeah, but also realizing that there's a long history of bringing songs about the person you're involved with in a negative light to a band. That certainly doesn't yeah, it didn't read that you were the garbage in the sand, Scott.
No, that's humanity.
Yeah. But yeah, but also just what a level-headed way to be in a relationship where you are an artistic collaborator. Like, that feels very good, which takes us into the book.
Mhm.
Because I've read a lot of, like, memoirs and, like, books about the music business. I've never read one quite so calm and rational as this one.
Sweet.
Well, thank you.
And so there are different passages that I really wanna talk about, and I think I'm gonna just start with the actually, since I'm also reading the Melissa Oftamar memoir,
I heard that was really good.
it's fantastic, and there are parallels between that and the drugs chapter where she talks a lot about being the person that doesn't know that, like, was never around hard drugs and never took hard drugs, and how to, like, manage being not on drugs and collaborating with people that are. And the book, took a very similar, very, like, logical approach, and I'm mostly curious, like, how has that changed over the years? Because I don't really myself, most of the musicians I talk to have encountered doing this don't do hard drugs, like, and it's never been like, is it still a thing that feels prevalent in, like, the post-major label world?
Yeah.
I think for younger bands, it seems like that's still part of their journey. Most people that have been in it for a long time are on the other side, it seems. A lot of, like, sober or, weed smoking kind of, like, after all that.
Well, yeah, like, most people have their arc of usage And when it comes to hard stuff, you're either going to be in it for life or you're going to kind of get it together after a while, depending on what the definition of drugs are. Like we said, like, is weed a drug? I mean, I don't think so, but it is illegal a lot of places. Alcohol, like, this is kind of the only business where you show up to work and there's a bottle of whiskey in your office. And it's not just that. It's kind of plus like I think like it is really normalized in music. Like it says like it's casually talked about and they say, "Oh, this guy was on heroin," and blah, 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 and it's like, it tends to kinda skate over the severity of the whole thing, which is fine, but at the same time, like, the point is to allow the reader, especially if the reader is young, because we work with students a lot. Like, we have a nonprofit called Studios for Schools, helping put studios in schools, and we do kind of writing workshops and stuff, recording workshops, and it's it is a really important thing for people to understand and not, like, villainize the whole thing and not be, "Oh, don't do drugs," because obviously, like it says, you're gonna just do, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go do drugs now." Whereas, like, if it comes down to no, you have to know what you're doing and what the consequences might be. You're not always gonna immediately destroy your life every time you do a line, but at the same time, like, understand the risks, understand what's actually happening, and be an adult, and you can make adult choices. Like, that's a part of life. I mean saying like, "Don't break the law," anyone that says, "Don't break the law," it's like, well, look at everything that's happening right now. Everyone in power is like, has 0 accountability to any laws and is
Mhm.
not making that it's total hypocrisy. So, like, okay, so you take the law out of the equation, then what do you got? You have, like, the truth, which is, oh, there's addiction, and then there's doing shit you didn't mean to do and, coming down. I mean, the holy trinity of drug use.
Yeah, it's funny because like, the Musa Aftamar book specifically brings up how busy she is and how, like, she doesn't understand how people have time to do drugs on the road.
They don't do much else. I
Yeah.
mean, like, drugs are all consuming when it becomes an addiction, or it's just so celebrated for rock and rollers. I mean, that's the way people, like, approach you. "I've
Yeah.
got drugs," like, it's just you're expected to drink, absolutely. People get offended if you don't drink with them. It's just the most bizarre, awkward life to be on on the receiving end, and that's why a lot of bands, I don't think, get places. There's always maybe one member that's driving the bus, but there's gonna be some people that are just in addiction.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
hope you have a nice manager or something like that.
Well,
I
plus,
don't
like,
know.
if you let's say, okay, you're on a bus tour, and so I'm drumming and I'm on a bus tour. My only responsibility is to show up at showtime and play for the most part. Like, that has happened. It's like, okay, when that's all you really have to do, if you're just that person that that's only your job, like, you have 22 hours a day of doing absolutely nothing. All you have to do is wake up and play, and then there you go. So for some people are busy, and that's luckily both of us are really busy, but a lot of times it's just driving and waiting. Tour can be very uneventful.
Yeah. So to sharp arc really quick, how do the 2 of you manage the doldrums? Because again, both of you feel very level-headed and, like, when there are those, like, 22 hours in a van, what do you do to keep your mind active?
We have so much going on,
Yeah.
and I love collaborating with Julia, and there's always something to talk about or kind of figure out or kind of evolve. It's grow the idea around it. So, like, the book took a little while. That we kind of got the seed planted for, like, almost a year when it was someone who told us to do, like, a video series about stuff that we've learned because he was getting some bands in touch with us to give them some advice, and we do work with bands a lot, so it was like, he did that, and then that took a while, so it's like, there's always something to talk about. Either Julia will come up with something, we can discuss it, or I'll come up with something, and, um, and Or just listen to pure moods.
I mean, there's what I loved about tour and those moments is to just be quiet and be in my head. Like, I love a 6-hour drive. I don't wanna be the one that's driving because then you get to choose the music, and hopefully everyone falls asleep, and you could just be on your own, like, with the open road. It's like a cliche, but there's so much noise all the time. I do not mind, like and then you're, like, settled. You're like, "Well, for 8 hours, I'm here, and I don't have to do anything, and I'm kinda not responsible for anything because 'cause I'm on tour."
Yeah,
So,
so to just to jump back, Pure Moods, the CD compilation that they
yeah,
sold on TV late at night in the late '90s and early aughts.
Yeah, we have a copy of it, and it's awesome.
bought the CD.
So, if you were forced to pick between Enigma or Enya,
Enigma.
Enigma. Yeah,
you 2 are we sync up nicely.
yeah. It's,
Yeah,
that Enigma song is just amazing. It just encapsulates everything that was happening.
yeah.
So, it's a truly true masterpiece.
I mean, Enigma bridged the gap between trip hop and new age,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep.
which was a gap that I think needed to be bridged by somebody.
Yeah,
Alright,
agreed.
n alright, next question, Lorena McKenna or Enya?
I'm
I
sorry?
believe there's a Lorena McKenna song on the Pure Mood CD, maybe I'm wrong.
Which song is
I don't
it?
know, I'd have to yeah, a lot of the songs, like, we didn't know the names, like, we knew Enya and Enigma, and then we just remembered Jenkins. Jenkins is a good one.
Mm,
Um, so I don't really know uh, the artists by heart yet.
yeah, I'm embarrassed that I remember that CD that well, but I worked in a record store at the time, and we get a lot of used copies of Pure Moods because it was always a passing fancy for people.
Which song is it? Do you remember the number?
No, it was The Mummer's Dance was the name of the song, and I can't even remember how it goes now. It was similar to Enya, where it was very Irish folk,
Yeah.
but with live instrumentation, not synthesizers.
Yes, it's the one that they changed to Hallelujah. I
The
like that
"Hey,
song too.
hey," that one, that it's like, oh, that song's great.
Yeah, that's a
You
great
know,
song.
we heard a version because we listened to the classical channel a lot, KUSC, and they had a version of that song, and this just really pissed me off because it was like a choral version of that song, but they changed the lyrics, and then when the person, like, goes, "Hey, hey, that's right," they said, "Hallelujah," and I was like, "What?" Like, don't give that back, like,
Yeah.
don't do that. I don't know, it was just it really bugged me. Yeah, that. It's like, that's not whatever's happening. I don't know what's exactly happening, but I know for a fact that it has nothing to do with Christianity, at least in English or whatever the
Well,
hell
no,
hallelujah is.
I mean, no, it was a it it was from a culture that predates Jesus, so,
Yeah, so, like, why are you doing that? Why are you trying to colonize that song?
I mean, that is the Christianity is all about what else could we colonize and pulverize, so,
Totally.
that's which wasn't what Jesus was about, so who knows? Alright, so speaking of really confusing things, so I the book is really clear and really well written, and I've read through the publishing chapter 5 times, and it makes less sense every time I read it, and I so, what did you what like, was it all street education? Like, how did you learn how to really understand this stuff? Because again, going back to drugs, I can't decide if you need to be on drugs to understand publishing, or you really can't do drugs to understand publishing
Well, royalties is
and royalties.
extremely confusing. And we know people like ourselves that have been in music for a really long time and are still not collecting all of their royalties.
Okay.
And we kind of started diving into it a little more. Royalties and metadata kind of were the same kind of road that me and my good friend Mick Bogus, who lives in England, is we're kind of focusing on for a really long time. And come to find out that there was a lot we didn't know, and so we just tried to find it out. I don't know. It took us a long, like 2 years to get it to the point to where it's in the book, and that's the simplest that I've ever seen, or I think Julia's ever seen. Like the easiest it's ever been explained is right there because we've been doing a lot of research, and all the research is like pages and pages of nothing to like get to this one thing where it's like, okay, that's the question that I wanted answered, and
We watched webinars and, with the MLC and, like try to actually research how this works because it has been a great mystery, and even registering properly with ASCAP and BMI, it's just yeah, that is the simplest way we can explain it, but that's why we wanna hold workshops so that we can actually speak to people one-on-one about what it means.
Yeah. Yeah, the element that I still don't quite understand, although most of it I still don't quite understand, don't get me to but how does it performance royalties work when you're, like, the songwriter? So do you get paid for a gig from the venue and from ASCAP or BMI? Or I know this is really just a question for me because I really wanna know, and maybe the listening audience will also wanna know too. I couldn't quite tell how that worked.
so okay, I'm just gonna stick with ASCAP right now because we're both ASCAP members. Okay, so ASCAP, what they do is they license music. They just pay a blanket music license to have music at their venue. So if you're an ASCAP member, ASCAP collects money. You have to man, where'd it go? Okay, the venue pays a blanket license per
Mm,
month or whenever to ASCAP. And then if you perform your songs at that venue, it would be the equivalent of is if ASCAP, like, played your song through the speakers at its cafe or in between songs or something, like, they are renting this music. They are paying a license to have this music present in their retail establishment. So, if I performed or Julia performed the song there, or both of us, whatever, then we would have to tell ASCAP, "Hey, we played we used these songs that they are paying the license for at their venue, and they give us the licensing fee." It's as if it got streamed.
okay. So
So we get paid from ASCAP. They kind of divvy up the blanket license, but also then if we play a live show, then it's called ASCAP Live. We submit our song list and then they register that. But the venue pays ASCAP and ASCAP pays the artist.
okay. So, like you basically get I mean, and again, I'm not gonna make this try not to make this sound like you're getting a ton of money because I know that the margins are small
Mhm.
overall.
Yeah, the amount doesn't matter. Like, there is money. Like,
And it depends on the capacity of the venue. So if you're opening for a giant band in front of 100,000 people, you're gonna get and you submit your ASCAP live
I think it's ASCAP on
on
stage,
stage, sorry.
BMI live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, then you get more money because you played in
Okay.
front of more people.
So effectively, it's like and it's, like, you'll get paid
A
for
dollar.
yeah, for your performance, and then, like, 1/10 of 1 cent for every person in the room, like,
I don't know how
streaming.
that yeah, how they quantify that.
No, yeah, no, those are imaginary numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
As basically, like, the comparison to streaming using streaming, like, per listen, each person is a listener, and you effectively get your streaming royalty as a songwriter in addition to your okay, this makes sense now,
Mhm.
and it just just made my head swim so much trying to like understand. And yeah, like if you were to give advice to a baby band right now, other than please read this book, where would you tell them to start now to make sure that they aren't effectively screwed out of these little pockets of money that they could be missing?
I would say start the spreadsheet. Start keeping track of every song that you release, which means the ISRC, the ISWC, what the splits are for every writer and publisher, what those numbers are for every, say you have 4 members, so they're going to have, depends on who they're with, might have a writer number and a publisher number. You have to have that all. That's where it starts because the hardest part for people like us that have been in the business 15, 20 years is remembering, finding the information. After that, if you keep that spreadsheet going, then it'll be way easier to register with ASCAP or BMI, register with Sound Exchange, register with the MLC. Then you're ahead of the game, baby bands. And then if something hits, you're already and register separately
Yeah,
so that
separately.
every member gets paid individually rather than the band. You're going to run into many, many problems, especially if money comes in, if the band gets paid.
Yeah, there
Because then
is no band.
you have to establish an LLC. The LLC has to get paid, and then blah, 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 blah. So that would be my advice from seeing bands fall apart and all the problems that come with it. Start that spreadsheet, agree to the splits, and then go on your way registering.
Yeah, just understanding the concepts of what the difference is between a songwriter and a publisher, and that they are different royalties because they're different things. Because you write a song, that's the composition. You have the composition of a song. Beethoven's Fifth Symphony is a composition. If Beethoven recorded his Fifth Symphony back in the day, that would be a recording, the master recording. If we covered the Fifth, then we released it, that'd be a different recording. He would still get the publishing royalties from that song.
It's probably,
Not, I
um,
mean, his, it's, yeah,
Well, I mean, if it happened today, I get it.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
like,
yeah.
Mm,
yeah, yeah, no, that song, God, it'd be amazing if that wasn't in the public domain somehow.
yeah.
Someone would be make a lot of
So
money.
you wouldn't get money off, you wouldn't get publishing, you wouldn't get writing, but you would get royalties from Sound Exchange for the actual physical recording of your version. So that's where it's all nuanced. And the reason they introduced publishing or writing credits is because people in the early recording history, they were getting screwed out of all their publishing because they would sign bad contracts. So the writing portion is supposed to protect songwriters. You're supposed to be able to keep that. Oh, hi.
The part of every podcast where the animal shows up.
Cute.
Okay, this makes this you did actually clear things up for me.
Good.
So I'm going to reference the Melissa Oftamar book for another question that you two haven't read. Because one business thing that comes up in the book is Melissa Oftamar, when she joins the band as a session player and eventually gets talked into becoming a full-fledged member of the band.
Mhm.
And I know, Julie, you have solo work and band work. And how does that, like, God, the question left my brain, but like, so the question really is for Scott here in that manner.
Yeah.
Do you think it makes more financial sense for someone to be a hired hand or a full-fledged band member from an independent musician, independent act standpoint?
I think that all depends. If you're in the band, I think I guess it all depends on what your definition of in the band is. Like, if you are an owner of the company, if you are financially invested in time and you're like linked in a contract to owning this thing that you want to build. I mean, it is a business. It's a like, okay, instead of band, let's use restaurant. So you own a restaurant and the restaurant is, it's just my restaurant, but I'll hire Julia to come in and create a menu. And then, so but she has no, what's it called? Like,
Steak.
no stake and no,
S Like, session players get paid per session, they don't get necessarily publishing or writing. So, the advantage is that you get to come in and get paid where no one else in the band is probably getting paid
right.
at that time. But in the long run, you're gonna have publishing. So, if the song blows up and it's celebrity skin, you don't get nothing. You sign this session contract and you're everything else, you just watch everyone else collect their publishing. You just say, "I played on that song." So, there's a difference of you being invested and then asked to work for free for a long time, hoping that
Yeah.
you're gonna get a payoff and getting paid right away. I mean, you can in if you're like an amazing famous player, you may be able to finagle some publishing in there. I mean, it all depends on the deal.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like,
You can make whatever deal you want.
plus, like, Sound Exchange does collect for session musicians. There's a 5%, um, put aside from the SAG-AFTRA AFM SAG-AFTRA fund for, they're called non-featured artists. So if you played on a song, you should sign up with Sound Exchange Direct because you do get money off of terrestrial radio, non-interactive streams from Sound Exchange, which means just radio, not
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 streaming.
clicky streaming, but
Yeah.
like Sirius and radio.
Okay.
So even if you aren't technically an owner of the song or collecting anything from songwriting, you still do get something. There is something out there.
Right. So you get something, but as a session player on a solo act, you're effectively wage labor, and you may get a little
Mhm.
thing in the end.
Maybe if that's what you've discussed.
Yeah.
Like, the Wrecking Crew, I don't think they got points on anything, and they played on every hit ever, but they probably got paid well,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. From what I gather, the Wrecking Crew didn't get paid that well.
Yeah,
But
well,
that whole era is, there is a lot of, like, I guess there's a whole history of session players getting abused, but yeah.
Don't say.
not in the music
I don't think
industry.
that, was that era. I think that's a continued thing because no, because it's so, there's not, a class you take. There's not like an introduction. It's like, "Okay, you're gonna play music. Here's your 2-week long technical training for this life that, it's a 6-month course of this." And, and so you just go into it and you fumble your way into it and eventually get your bearing, but, like, there's not like a conference. Musicians don't have like a yearly conference at the Long Beach Convention Center that's like, "Hey, we're all getting together. We're gonna have some talks." I mean, there's NAMM.
Yeah.
Um,
But that's just selling stuff.
yeah, that's just
We're being sold to all the time. We don't actually talk to each other. That was what's cool about this book, is that we ended up talking to other bands and be like, "What do you think about green room etiquette?" And they were like, "Oh my god, I have to tell you this and this and this, and this sucks when people do." And it's like, it felt like they were stoked to finally talk about what they want and what, like, actually a good working environment may be. Like, we don't that's not discussed with us.
Yeah. So there actually is a conference here.
oh, there is?
It's
What's it
called
called?
Balanced Breakfast, and it's put together by a guy who books Hotel Utah, and he actually has, like, industry people talk to musicians, and it actually is what you've described.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Balanced breakfast.
And it started out as, like, musicians meeting together for breakfast once a week to, like, figure things out themselves, hence balanced breakfast. Um, and then it sort of and then it opened up, like, different balanced breakfasts throughout the country, and then he started having a conference.
Great.
That's amazing, we should go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When's the next one? Did they need a speaker?
I think it's in June, it's soon. I will send Stephanie the details because yeah, I bet he
Maybe.
would. It's the type of thing that, like, you're saying, like, you 2 should know if something like this is happening, like, as 2 people that have definitely logged van miles on many different levels.
Sweet.
Yeah, I will make sure that happens, and I will put all, like, tags to that, and Balanced Breakfast Guy will be very happy to and the link back. Alright, our time is getting slim. I have one random question. Do you think beach goth will ever happen again?
That's not up to me. That
Okay,
that yeah, that has nothing to do with me anymore. Um,
okay,
2016. So,
fair.
if if it does, best of luck.
Somebody once said it was his favorite festival to me, and it was somebody wearing lots of leather.
It was a blast. I got nothing but good memories of all of those.
And, alright, so new Soft Poems single is about 3 weeks old. What's next for the 2 of you?
Another single, it just came out on Bandcamp, it's called Nervous as Hell, and then it comes out on streaming next week, I believe.
Okay, okay. So, possibly timed when this goes live.
Yeah.
That that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Also, Garbage in the Sand, Nervous as Hell.
Mhm.
There's a theme.
Yeah, there's a theme.
There's a theme.
There's a
Yeah, it's like you're alive in 2026 and navigating around everything happening in 2026.
Yeah, everything from 2020 on, the world shifted and everyone started really gravitating towards hate and conflict. And like Scott mentioned, a bunch of crooks running things. And it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I do argue that I think it started in 2016.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I won't,
That's,
Yeah,
feel
that was
that one.
hell too.
Yeah, that sucked too.
That was hell one. Now in
yeah,
That
hell
and this
two.
sucks worse than that. That was
yeah.
nothing. I would love to go back to that.
I would love to go back to the peace and calm of the first Trump administration. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fucking
bonkers.
nukes, that's on
Less
North Korea right now? Yeah,
organized.
cool, getting nuked by North Korea. That was the highlight. That was the
Yeah.
big one. Yeah, rad. I'll go bring me back to that.
You're not wrong there. But yeah, I was I w the other day I was thinking back to, like, how terrible 2020 was and all the different levels of bad.
Yeah.
Like I think it was when, recently hit the see, you folks are in California, but I don't think this happened down there, but there was what I called Orange Day.
I never heard of it, no.
So, it was in the Bay Area, there was a day where just I looked outside and the skies were orange. It was creepy and everything was orange, and it was because of the fires happening down California.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
fires.
And it was like it was hot and muggy, and I realized that the air outside was poisonous. Communal air indoor was poisonous because of COVID, and it was just, "This is just all bad."
Yeah.
Don't think
So
about it.
I listened
Yeah,
to the love song Orange Skies, and it weirdly made me feel better.
that's good. Music has a
Yeah.
way of doing that. I mean, it's the way we cope, way I cope with life as it is now. So It's a powerful story.
Yeah, and clearly this your songwriting is navigating this. So, thank you.
No problem. It's the only way I can live.
Mhm.
It's like the only place to express that. Performing it is the best because then I could just be saying it over, like
Yeah. So
live.
so so when does Soft Palms hit the road again?
August.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
August in the United States and September in Europe.
excellent. I like that looking at Julia's face is like, "Oh, that's a surprise," but
No, it's just we're heading up like in November up the West Coast, I think.
nice.
In
So
November.
like the US tour is like out east, which we haven't toured as this band on the East Coast, so that's really exciting.
Alright, so East Coast in
August.
August, then Europe in
Uh-huh.
September, then, a Halloween breather,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then we'll be thankful for a West Coast return in
Yes.
November. That was dumb, I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
Oh, yeah, I'm stoked, really excited. It's cool to be able to tour on a new album too. It's been 5, 6 years since we put out an album, which is way too long, but there's a lot of stuff happened between,
Well,
you
it
know.
put out 2 solo records.
Yeah, Julia put out 2
Even though
solo
they're solo, Scott was deeply involved, so he was a session player.
session player.
Yeah, that's why I pointed the question to Scott because he
Yeah.
has both the
He gets
band with you
points.
and you're the hired gun for
He got
them.
paid nothing, but he got points.
And, Julia's an amazing, musician and songwriter, and I'm honored to be able to help, out with that. I mean, it's like the whole point of life. It's the one of the most beautiful parts of, Julia, and I appreciate it, and I love doing it, and I'm just so stoked to be able to help her out. I mean,
So I hate to be the person that says this, but you guys are really in love with each other, and that feels really good. Like,
well,
I can just
thanks.
sort of, like it oozes out of the computer screen, like, how much, like, respect and, like, mutual admiration you have for each other, and I
Thank
hope
her.
and I'm sorry for embarrassing both of you on the internet, but nonetheless, you guys are really like, I was expecting this to be nice, but I wasn't really expecting to, like, really, like, get how much you seem to both really just like each other, and that's a good thing.
Well, it's great to hear,
Thanks,
and
yeah.
it's the truth.
Okay, in closing, you said album. Are you willing to say when you think the album will be ready, or are you just or is that
It's ready. It's coming out June 19th.
It's out for pre-order right now. It's been
Yeah, we should send
Yeah,
you
we'll send you a copy.
excellent? Thank
Yeah.
you.
yeah.
And then and then somewhere, wherever, whichever podcasting service you listen to this on, the link will be somewhere. Yeah,
Cool.
Thank you.
either to on the bottom or to the left or to the right.
Just look for a link.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent.
Send us the links, we'll post about it, and very, very nice talking to you. Thank you
Yeah,
for,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was lovely, and yeah, and I will thanks, Stephanie. We tried to do this with the solo record, and things got messy,
Yeah.
and but I'm glad because this was such a good, interesting, fascinating read as someone that isn't like directly involved in making, but peripherally involved in the universe of music. And yeah, it is. You both did a great job with this book.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I like it's something that anybody that wants to work in this field, it feels like they should read it and then decide afterwards if they still want to do it.
I agree. I think everyone involved in music should at least know in general sense of what happens. Like, you can't be a manager if you don't know how a show runs. Like,
Mhm,
I don't understand how people do that. I think the mentality of bands would be a great advantage for any manager or agent. for anybody trying to work in this field.
Yeah.
A little dealing with artists and not overworking them and understanding that, yeah, people wanna work, but, like, they don't wanna be, like, run into the ground.
Mhm.
And, and and for artists, like, the more they know, the easier things will be because they'll be able to at least pick up the pieces sometimes and pivot when there's problems, be like, "Okay, what else can I do with this?" Things didn't go a certain way, but, like, there's always a way to figure it out because there's a lot going on, but it is, like, limited. Like, everything that's in that book is everything we do, but it is also kind of everything. But, like, knowing the limitations of the universe kind of will allow you to, like your brain to, like, ping back to another thing. If you're like, connect the certain dots and not know what dots you don't know you need to connect.
Yeah, know what questions to ask.
That reminds me, one thing that you said in here as a vlogger is you should always link back to the artists, like
No follow. Yeah.
yeah, but no follow, and not a
Unticked.
s not a single publicist has ever told me to do that,
Yeah.
but I
Well,
will
it's okay. We didn't bring it up.
yeah,
Um,
but it's one of those things where, like, I had no idea what the impact was, and, like yeah, like, it was a thing that I learned from the book about what I do, and it's like, oh, like, yeah. Anywho, so thank you again, and now we'll really wrap this up.
that's really, really great to hear. I mean, that's like that's awesome. Um, thank you.
We have to let the bots know what to
Yeah.
look at.
'Cause they
Yes.
crawl. They crawl around and they connect dots, and if you're brick
Yeah,
walling them, they're not gonna be able to connect this with that, therefore ingest.
And it's better for your podcast, and it's better for
Yeah,
the artist.
yeah. Yeah, I had no clue, like, it's not something that it was ever told to me until reading this book, and so it's changed the way I do things.
that's
That's
awesome.
so cool.
Did you change just out of curiosity, did you have to were there unticked no follows?
Yes, and I haven't I mean, I have 17 years worth of posts,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm not gonna necessarily go through everything, but, like, making like, linking back is the importance of linking back I never even considered.
Well, there is a every, like, website has a like, a I could think it's called a budget, like a budget of how many times they can link back. So, like, there is a finite number that bots can go. They're not just gonna go through everything and link everything. It's like they have a certain amount that they can do. And that's a little deep, dark area that I don't know anything about. No, kind of out of protest for the whole thing, I don't really care to know
Mhm.
because, like, it's like, "Dude, give us a break," you know? Like, it's like, "Well, you don't overdo it." It's like, ah, it's very aggravating.
Yeah, and again, that's what I need to know, not you at this point.
Yeah, so there's a I think budget is the word. Like,
Yeah,
did I say that already? Yeah,
Yeah.
so
yeah,
I talked in my head like it was new, but, yeah, so there is a certain allocated
You
number.
wouldn't be able to do it for all 17 years.
Yeah,
You
that
have
yeah,
to choose your favorites.
yeah, and but also make sure that I do it going forward is
Yeah.
really the important thing.
yeah. So, that would and so anyway, that's really nice to hear. I'm really happy to help that out because it's just unclogging the information. Like, don't
Mm,
let's not separate everyone. Let's let each other help each other out.
yeah,
That's kind of the point of the book too. Like, give us the edge over the AI and help each other out and make a better working environment, better music community, people making more money, people helping each other, getting along, being stoked on collaborating. Nothing bad's gonna come from that. What's the worst thing can happen?
yeah, and you're just, to 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 go back to politics, because this is one of my favorite ways of describing the internet, even though it was wrong, was connecting the series of tubes.
Yep.
Yeah,
And on that note, I shall really let you 2 go back about your day.
cool. Well, thanks for
Thank
talking.
you.
Great talk.
Thank you so much. This was really lovely, and I hope to see you in November.
Yeah.
Right on. See you
See
there.